South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Hi, I'm Kurt Angle. I represented the United States in the Olympics in 1996 and won a gold medal. Then I parlayed that into a pro wrestling career. I saw a commercial a few years ago.
Tunnel to Towers Foundation made a promise.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation is paying off the mortgages for Gold Star families with young children. I thought, this is really cool. I want to be a part of it. My dad served in the Army for 30 years. We didn't have a lot of money, but he made sure we had what we needed. He set a great example for all of us. He died in a construction accident my freshman year in high school. When he died, we didn't have any income coming in, and we ended up being forced to move out of our house. I was devastated. So I understand what these families are going through, and to have an organization like Tunnel to Towers come in and pick you up and carry you and give you a home to live in, I think that's just amazing. I'd like to ask you to donate $11 a month to support these efforts by going to t2t.org or calling 1-844-BRAVEST.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
The following is a Race Day Las Vegas presentation in association with Siraco Productions Limited on the Race Day Las Vegas Radio Network.
Live from the gaming capital of the world, time for Race Day Las Vegas, covering the sport of kings with a Las Vegas perspective. Now to the race desk with your host, Ralph Siraco.
From the backstretch to the turf club, at the racebooks and on the internet, to all horse players around the world, a good morning. Alrighty, good morning everybody. Welcome to the Race Day Las Vegas radio program for this Wednesday as we start off another week of covering the great sport of kings Las Vegas style from Las Vegas, Nevada, your gaming capital, at the South Point Hotel Casino Complex on Las Vegas Boulevard and the South Point Studios and the South Point Studio streaming network at YouTube. We welcome you to the show, as well as all of our listeners around town that are listening to us on our anchor radio station, Sports Talk 1400 AM and 107.1 FM, and then all of those other platforms that we have, like our websites, racedaylasvegas.com, .vegas, .world, .global, your iPhone, your Android, your Google phone, all covered with the apps. You get the KSHP app listening through the radio station. You get the YouTube app. You can see us and hear us through the YouTube app. It's really that simple. And, of course, anywhere you get your podcasting as well. So welcome to the show for this Wednesday as we hit the transition type of week, certainly in Southern California with the closing of the Hollywood meet and the long stretch of racing that happened at Santa Anita from the day after Christmas to Sunday. And now we wait, and we're going to get ready for the small Los Alamitos meet. That, of course, is the L.A. County Fair meet at Los Alamitos. Funny, the L.A. County Fair meet in Orange County, where Los Alamitos is at. But that meet will start on Friday, go through right after the 4th of July. A couple of big stakes races there as well. We're going to have Bob Mazurski back with us. He's our guy at Los Alamitos. He'll be with us. In fact, he'll give us a preview on tomorrow's show. And we'll be off and running there at Los Al for a couple of weeks. And then, of course, the spa-to-spa racing that we all enjoy every year as horse players. Del Mar in Southern California, Saratoga in New York. You go from morning, noon, and night at those two race meets. They're just on the horizon. They're back at Belmont at Aqueduct for the couple of more weeks. We got Belmont at Aqueduct after the Belmont, of course, racing festival at Belmont at Saratoga. And so we'll move on with that. Penn National. You remember they have those big four stakes races. The Leafard, the Alphabet Suit, the Penn Oaks, and the Penn Mile. Now, this thing was supposed to be held like 4 weeks ago, but they've had torrential bad rain and bad weather in the area where Penn National is at in Pennsylvania. And the turf course just got drenched. So they canceled those four stakes races on their original day of schedule. So then they rescheduled it for this coming Friday, 2 days from now. On Friday, they had the Penn Mile, the Penn Oaks, the Alphabet Soup, and the Leafard Stakes all ready to go again. They didn't redraw the races, okay? All they did was have the fields that were set when they got them drawn, and they're going to just set them right into the Friday card. And now they canceled that again because they're getting bad weather. They got bad weather through that area, as far as more rain, etc., happening through this week, etc. But the predictions for Friday in that area is beautiful weather. Beautiful weather. And then, of course, more rain comes in on Sunday and Saturday. But I think what some people are failing, because I see a lot of criticism, but, well, it's a beautiful day on Friday, just run the races. But at Penn National, they've always had problems, even when they didn't get bad weather, with the turf course. The turf course is not in great shape. And so add the extended amount of moisture that they have, and even if you get one day that's it's beautiful and dry out there, it's not going to help, really, that turf course any. And so for the safety of the riders and the horses, etc., That I think, they didn't say that, but that I think is the reason for delaying it again. So the Penn Mile, the Penn Oaks, the Alphabet Soup, and the Leafard Stakes, all four that were scheduled a month ago, or practically a month ago, will be rescheduled now for 1 week from this coming Friday on the 27th of June. Let's hope that the weather dries up there, okay? Because as far as the weather is concerned around the country right now, looks like they're going to get some more rain, et cetera, in that area today, along with West Virginia, et cetera. And then we've got spotted, rain pockets over Oklahoma, Arkansas, et cetera, but nothing outstanding around the country. So the racing ought to be okay today around the country. But that is the way it is. As far as the temperatures are concerned, now that's the problem in some areas, especially here in Las Vegas. Right now, outside here in Vegas, it's 84 degrees. We're going to get up to, are you sitting down? We're going to get up to 112. 112 degrees, they predict, will be the topper today. Now, they have an excessive heat warning that was kicked in about 10 o'clock last night and will run through Thursday. So for the next couple of days here, we are going to get hot. And so I say this every time, and I will continue to repeat this every time because it is a necessity to repeat it every time. Stay hydrated. The normal time that you spend out and the outdoors during regular temperatures, you got to cut that, if not in half, to a quarter, because you can overheat real quick when it's 112 degrees outside. So the first thing on your mind today, if you are anywhere here in Las Vegas, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Keep that water bottles close to you all the time. You got to limit the time outside for both the kids and the pets, and make sure you check on all of the elderly and people who have a hard time with the hot weather. Check on them, make sure they're okay. Just stay hydrated. We're going to get to 112 today. It'll be 87 in Miami. New York is 80 degrees with rain. Chicago is 80 degrees with rain. And Los Angeles is 89 degrees with no racing. We're going to be 112 today, and we're going to match the high temperature in the country that's always sitting there at Phoenix, Arizona. So a really hot pocket right here in the Southwest for that. But as far as the weather is concerned, as far as racing, it seems to be able to be okay in the racing centers today. And as you know, Penn National will postpone the Penn Mile, Penn Oaks, Alphabet Suit, and Leafard until 1 week from Friday in anticipation of more moisture in the turf course. I say, as much as it is irritating for us, and probably for the horsemen who, go through a lot of expense to get their horses there and getting ready for the race, it is to make a decision on the side of caution is the best way of doing it. All right, well, we hope everybody out there had a great Father's Day. I got to tell you, there was one thing that happened on Father's Day in racing that really, really was real neat. And it happened at Canterbury Park. At Canterbury Park on Father's Day, the track announcer, Paul Allen, and his son, Derek, together called a race at Canterbury Park. Now, I thought that was really neat. It was, I saw it on X, posted on X the other day. If you have a chance, maybe you look for it. Father's Day, Paul Allen and his son, Derek, called a race at Canterbury Downs, or Canterbury Park, I should say. Used to be Canterbury Downs. Canterbury Park. That was really neat. They have averted the strike. They have averted the closing of fairgrounds. And you knew it was going to happen, because that closing that place is just, for that part of the country, would be like closing down, the French Quarter. So what they did, Churchill Downs got together with the Louisiana Horsemen. They made nice, and they reached an agreement that the fairgrounds meet that's scheduled to open right around Thanksgiving and go through early spring will continue. They have reached an agreement, whatever the agreement is. I'm sure everybody had a little give and take to it. And now it goes for the approval to the Louisiana Racing Commission on Tuesday. And you know they're going to stamp it. So they averted the big problem of not having racing at fairgrounds. And that's a while away. But, you know, when you sit there and say that's like having an earthquake down there, for goodness sakes. So they got that settled, Churchill Downs and the Louisiana Horsemen. Made nice, and they're going to have the racing there without any interruption. You know, the racing is going on at Ascot right now, Ascot Racing in England. The biggest meet in Europe of the year, Ascot, runs through, I believe, Saturday or Friday. Tuesday through Saturday. And it has 4 races that are Breeders' Cup win-in-your-in races. But it's really, you know, they top hats and the morning coats and all that stuff. But their big race of the meet isn't the last day or the last race on the last day of the meet. It's the first race on the first day of the meet. And so on Tuesday, the Queen Anne, the Group 1 race, the biggest race of the Ascot meet, was won by a horse called Docklands in a driving photo finish against the favorite Rosalion, who finished second in the race. Now, Docklands was second in this race last year and then went to Australia and a few other places. It came back and finally won the race in a driving finish on Tuesday at odds of 25-1, beating the favorite in the race. And our U.S. entrant, the U.S. horse, Carl Spackler, finished off the board. He finished about 6th in the race. So they're continued to racing at Ascot. They're running right now at Ascot and will run through Saturday in England. They're going to try it again in Northern California. The people at Ferndale and Fresno, both of them, are going to request fall racing days in the Northern California for the 3rd time, making that request to the California Horse Racing Board. This is the 3rd time in 3 months they're going to try this. We'll wait and see what happens there, but they're running up the flag again for Ferndale and Fresno. And as far as the LA County Fair meet, as I say, it starts at Los Alamitos on Friday. Looking ahead to this weekend, on Saturday, we've got stakes races at Belmont at Aqueduct, Gulfstream, Los Alamitos. We'll have a stakes race on Saturday. Monmouth, Prairie Meadows, Woodbine, and Canterbury Downs. Canterbury Park. I keep saying Canterbury Downs. Canterbury Park will have 5 stakes races on Saturday, highlighted by the Canterbury Derby. There. Churchill Downs will have the only graded stakes race of the weekend. It's a grade 2 at Churchill. And at Thistledown, we don't get Thistledown product here in Las Vegas for simulcasting, but they got a big card at Thistledown on Saturday. 5 stakes races that are headed up by the grade 3 Ohio Derby. And that's going to be a good one because you're going to get the matchup between McAfee and Clever again in that field in the Ohio Derby. So that's going to be a good race there. And then, of course, on Sunday, we'll have stakes races at Belmont at Aqueduct, Hawthorne, Louisiana Downs, Monmouth, Woodbine, and Emerald Downs will have 4 stakes races on Sunday. So while we wait for to get started with Los Alamitos and, of course, on the threshold of Saratoga and Del Mar, some pretty good racing still going on around the country, that's for sure. All righty. On today's show, we got Jonathan Ardoon with us, Rich Yang, John Lendo, and, of course, if it's Wednesday, Dwayne Calucci from the Rampart, and we'll have some of their picks as well. Now, let's take a look. Let's wrap up of what happened over the weekend and the closing day at Santa Anita. Santa Anita closed up shop on Sunday on their Hollywood meet. First race, Umberto Rispoli won on a Phil D'Amato trainee paying $420. That kind of set the table for the rest of the day. The third race, both Jonathan Ardoon and Rich Eng both landed on the horse that won the race, Miss Mager. Antonio Fresu's his first of a couple of wins on Sunday at Santa Anita. Miss Mager paid $4.80 to win. That was Phil D'Amato's second win in the first three races at Santa Anita. But with that win, it wrapped up the leading trainers. So Phil D'Amato became the leading trainer at Santa Anita early in the day. D'Amato had 27 wins for the Hollywood meet. It was only a 29-day meet. And that was his seventh Santa Anita title for trainer Phil D'Amato. And then later on in the fifth race, Umberto Rispoli got his second win of the day for Jeff Mullins at $2.10 with a horse called Wordplay. The sixth race for two-year-olds, the winner there was Pavlonian. Pavlonian, Umberto Rispoli's third win in the first five races of the day for Mr. Redham and Doug O'Neill. Redham and O'Neill and Rispoli get together on a two-year-old maiden to win that race, paying $5.40. In the seventh race, Antonio Fresu got his second win of the day for trainer Mark Glatt and his first win of the day at $9.20. With that win, Antonio Fresu wraps up the leading jockey of the Hollywood Park meeting. Fresu had 34 winners. It was his first Santa Anita outright win title, and his second title in California. Of course, he won Los Alamitos. And the 33-year-old Italian wins his first Santa Anita meeting with that seventh race winner on Sunday. Then going to the eighth race for two-year-old maidens, Redham, O'Neill, and Rispoli gets together again for another winner in a two-year-old maiden race. This was Rispoli's fourth win of the day, O'Neill's second and Redham's second. Hero or Zero was the name of the horse, paying $5.60. And with that race, trainer Doug O'Neill finally gets his 3,000th training win in the United States. He had already passed 3,000 when he talked about his wins outside of the country, in addition to these. But 3,000 USA wins for Doug O'Neill came down in that eighth race at Santa Anita on closing day. Then the San Juan Capistrano was down to a small field of just four horses. And the winner was a long shot, Nitty, who came off the pace with Armando Ayuso aboard for Leonard Powell and paid $12 even in the short field. The early pace setter, Time Song, was second, and Balladeer was third in the San Juan closing day feature. The 10th race, John Sadler gets together and trains the winner, Pony Express, paying $6.80 to give Umberto Rispoli his fifth win of the day. 5 now for Rispoli. The 11th race, Bad Uncle Barry wins to give Mark Glatt his second win of the day, paying $21.60. Yes, you guessed it, Umberto Rispoli's sixth win of the day. He was going for 7 in the last race, didn't get it. Last race winner was a pick on the show, an interpretation of Jerry J's Power Page. Jerry J's pick on the show, Young Love, won under Juan Hernandez, paying $18.40. Jerry J's selection. One of his link-ups finished second, so the dollar exacta came back $21.10. So the 6 wins by Rispoli was the first time a jockey won 6 on a day at Santa Anita since Frankie Dettori did it back on April 6th of 2024, just a little over a year ago, and was the 25th time a jockey has had 6 wins in a day at Santa Anita in the history of the racetrack. By the way, the California record is 7 wins on the day. That came in 7 wins in a day. Victor Espinoza did it in 2006. Drayden Van Dyke did it in 2018. Both of those 7-win days were at Del Mar. The California record, 7 wins on a day, held by those two jockeys at Del Mar. The pick six, mandatory payoff, paid $41,248.60. So it was a big day for Phil D'Amato, Doug O'Neill, Antonio Fresu, who got his win as well in the title, and of course Umberto Rispoli with 6 wins at Santa Anita on Sunday. Wow. Aqueduct, Belmont at Aqueduct. Chad Brown had a couple of winners. He won the second race at $4 even with Ired Ortiz Jr. and came back in the seventh race with Flavian Pratt paying $3.70. Highest priced winner of the day out of the 9 races at Belmont at Aqueduct on Sunday was an $11.40 winner. That horse stopped Jonathan Hardoon's pick, who finished second in the race. Remember, Jonathan Hardoon not only had that pick, but he was also the owner of Willing to Risk It All, who ran a tremendous race, but finished second in the race to the David Dock trainee there. Pick 6 at Belmont on a very formful day, $335. That's what it paid. Rich Eng gave us a winner on Sunday and came at Woodbine. Awesome Bourbon reported home with Mr. Salas aboard, paying $4 even, bet down as the favorite in the 4th race. Richie's winner there. And at Churchill Downs on Sunday, Jose Ortiz won the early double with the first race winner, $7.76. Second race he won, paying $5.26. And then he won on his first 3 mounts because he came back in the 4th race on a Peter Urton trainee, paying $4.44. Pick 6 at Churchill paid $19,913.51 on Sunday. Now you're all caught up on Sunday. Now let's start another week and see if we can get our handicappers to keep the mojo going. So don't forget, Jonathan Hardoon's with us today. We got Dwayne Colucci. It's Wednesday, you know. Rich Eng and John Lindo as well, and your racing menu. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
The Southern California Thoroughbred Racing Circuit is back at Los Alamitos Racecourse with 9 great days of racing starting on Friday, June 20th. The opening weekend will feature the $100,000 Bertrando Stakes. Plus, the summer meet will include the running of the Los Alamitos Derby on Saturday, June 28th. We'll also have a holiday racing program on Friday, 4th of July. And our on-track handicapping contest will be on Saturday, June 28th. Daytime racing returns to Los Alamitos. Opening day is Friday, June 20th.
Alrighty, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Here's your racing menu for today, reminding you first post times are Pacific. So if you're listening here and coming out to the race book here at the South Point today, we are in the Pacific time zone. These will be the first post times rolling out in the book here today. If you're listening anywhere else around the world, just adjust wherever you're at from your time zone to the Pacific time zone. Then you won't miss anything like I miss Mom and Dad. Okay, here we go. We begin with Belterra Park. Belterra Park has a first post time of 9:35 at Belterra. Then we go next to Delaware Park. Delaware Park has their first post time at 9:35 at Delaware Park today. Following that comes Churchill Downs. Churchill Downs, Louisville, Kentucky, first post time 9:45. Now Churchill Downs has that big pick six jackpot carryover of $810,513. Yeah, that's today at Churchill Downs. First post time 9:45. Then next comes Parks Racing. Their first post time is at 9:40. Pick 5 jackpot carryover there, $196,144. Parks Racing. Following Parks will be Finger Lakes. Finger Lakes has a first post time of 10 a.m. And following Finger Lakes, we've got a post time next at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Their first post time is 11:10 at Horseshoe, Indianapolis, followed by Presque Isle Downs. Presque Isle has a first post time of 12:30. Penn National will race today. Penn National has their first post time with a super high 5 jackpot carryover of $4,902 set at 2:45. And then we'll wrap it up with Canterbury Park. Canterbury Park's first post time is at 3 o'clock. And that's the racing menu for today. All right, let's go out to Jonathan Ardoon real quick. Jonathan, good morning.
Good morning, Ralph. How are you?
Doing fine, my man. How's the weather up there where you're at?
Never stops raining. It just does not stop.
Never stops raining.
Crazy every day. I mean, a couple hours a day, you're going to get rain up here.
And we want to remind everybody, you're in Saratoga Springs, not Seattle.
That's correct. Not to England. I thought I moved to England or somewhere, but
oh, the racing in England, it's a fast track there at Ascot today. There's no problem there. In any case, we do have some interesting races this weekend. One race that we won't be able to wager on here in Las Vegas because of a contract dispute with Thistledown. We won't be able to bet those races, but we'll be able to watch them at least on TV. The Ohio Derby, and a very interesting matchup in the Ohio Derby on Saturday between McAfee and Clever Again.
yeah, and Clever Again was a major disappointment in the Preakness. If you remember, Ralph, he got beat 30 lengths that day, and he went off 5-1, so he got bet into journalism. He just did not run well. You know, he went out for the lead, and I guess they went really fast, really soon, because he was done at the top of the stretch. And if you remember, Steve Asmussen was looking to blame Rispoli for no reason. His horse was totally done by the time that accident happened at the top of the stretch. Not an accident, but a lot of bumping going on. And it's going to be interesting because McAfee runs for Dutra, who's also was supposed to run well last time out in the Peter Pan when he ran second to the Chad Brown horse.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be an interesting contest there, the Ohio Derby. And although, those are the two horses, of course, that are the main horses in the Ohio Derby. And again, it's a grade 3, and the purse is $500,000. So that's nothing to sneeze at. But there is a field of 9 in the race, and there are some other interesting horses. For example, number 8, Curvino, trained by Peter Miller, and Mike Smith is going out there to ride that horse at 12-1. And Steve Asmussen, of course, has Clever Again in the race. And Dutrow has McAfee. But then you've got, other horses, some of them, of course, competing there. Clever Again is going to be the favorite in the race. McAfee will be second choice. And the third choice in the race will be a horse called Chunk of Gold with Jareth Loveberry riding for Ethan West.
Yeah, well, he ran in the Kentucky Derby, if you recall.
Yeah.
Chunk of Gold was. So he got beat by Sovereignty, only by 15 lengths. Sounds like a lot, but compared to this field, it may be good enough.
Yeah, it's for sure. And of course, again, we won't be able to wager on the race, but I got to tell you that I think between the two favorites, I think that's the way they'll be going in the Ohio Derby.
Well, we'll find out. Yeah, they may also be dealing with a wet track that day, so it seems to rain every weekend, especially on the East Coast. But let's see what happens.
And of course, that's in Ohio, and they get a lot of that bad weather that makes its way through to you in a day or two. So we'll wait and see about that. It's been a very unusual start of summertime in the country, that's for sure. All right, Jonathan, I know we'll be taking a look at some other stakes races as we get closer to the weekend that, of course, will be races that we can bet here from Las Vegas. But a quick thought on your approach to Los Alamitos when it starts on Friday.
Well, it's a track where it's horses for courses, because horses that run well there usually run well there all the time. It's kind of like going down the hill at Santa Anita. They have a very long stretch there, and it just seems to go forever. The interesting thing is the opening day card, Ralph. They got 8 and 10 horses in every race.
Yeah,
Where
how
were
about
these
that?
horses hiding? Where were these horses hiding is the question. And, usually when they go to Los Al at this meet, it's usually quiet because people are saving their horses for Del Mar. But that's not the case for opening day, so good for them. I'm sure we're not going to see any of those $30 pick fives there and things like that, like we had the last week or so at Santa Anita with all those filthy favorites, as you would call them. But maybe we'll get some prices finally.
Now, Jonathan, as you say, the one key factor outside of the basic principles of handicapping for any track would be horses that like that course in the past.
Yeah, it's really important. You'll see they run there, and you just got to do your homework. And if you put some time and effort in, you have a shot to make some money.
Well, I just want to say your horse ran big on Sunday. I know he didn't get the win, but he ran big, and we'll look forward to him going back racing again. And we'll be asking you for a pick today.
Okay, so let's go to Churchill Downs and look at their opener. It's 6 furlongs on the main track, and I like the number 7 horse in here, Musical Prayer. This was a 5-year-old mare from the Steve Asmussen barn. This horse is owned by Julius Asmussen and ridden by Keith Asmussen. So I would say it's a family affair. Everybody sees how the Asmussen barn has certainly turned things around the last week. I like the fact that she's drawn outside. She's 4-1 on the morning line. She's going to get a great trip in here. She's going to be stalking from the outside. Number 7, Musical Prayer, wins today's opener out of Churchill Downs.
All right, first race post time, Pacific time, is 9:45 this morning. And we're going to start it off with a winner right off the bat, Jonathan Ardoon, in the first race at Churchill Downs, likes number 7, Musical Prayer. The 7 in the first race, and, there's a lot of praying going on at the racetrack, so... we hope it's music to our ears that she wins the race. That's for sure. Hey, thanks a lot, Jonathan. He's got a full sheet, by the way, for Churchill today, right?
JONHARDOON.com. Thank you, Ralph.
You got
Stay
it.
safe and be well. Talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you. We're going to hold up a break. We're going to go right to Dwayne Colucci standing by from the Rampart. Dwayne, good morning, buddy.
What's up, Ralph? How we doing today at the fabulous South Point?
Well, all I can tell you is that now we wrapped up Santa Anita. Finally, that long stretch in Arcadia, California, as beautiful as the racetrack is, we got some kind of fresh looking going on down at Los Alamitos. And I know that you're a horse player, so looking at Los Alamitos, I'll ask you the same question I asked Jonathan. Any different from the basic principles of handicapping for Los Al?
Well, definitely, like John said, Ralph, it's important that a horse likes that course. So if you see in the past performances, horses that have excelled at Los Al in the past, definitely they have an affinity for the track. So I would definitely look at those horses a lot closer if they were successful at Los Al. You have a huge stretch there run. It's, a large sweeping turn. And it's kind of a different racetrack than we see with Del Mar and Santa Anita. So definitely, I think if you like the course, it's important. Bob Baffert, he tends to put, sometimes some of his better horses out there. So keep an eye on the Baffert stable as well, because we've seen a lot of Kentucky Derby runners come out of, Los Al races at times. So definitely, a lot of people like to take a break during Los Al and, then pick it up again. But I love Los Al. As long as there's a track bias and something I could handicap and pick up on, it's important to gather all the information you can and, just go with the flow there.
Well, we'll be doing Los Al right through the 4th of July weekend, and then we'll be heading down to Del Mar, where everybody just chomps at the bit to get to bet the races at Del Mar. And Saratoga, too. Like, they'll be at Belmont at Aqueduct. I understand that they're going to have a special 4th of July festival going on back up at Saratoga for that weekend, so you'll be back up there racing. Then they'll take a little break, and then they'll start their regular meet at Saratoga. So before all of that starts out, I always thought the Los Alamitos was kind of a fun meet to play. That's for sure. Before we get your pick, we know that the Florida Panthers won the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row last night in hockey. But we had one of our chatters asking your opinion, what you think of the NBA playoffs right now.
Well, it's been really exciting, I'll tell you, Ralph. A lot of people thought it was going to be lopsided, but the Indiana Pacers have really come to play, and it was just unfortunate to see that Tyrese Halliburton got that injury in the last game. You know, he's their focal point. He's the Pacers' Achilles heel, as I like to say. Big shots all the time, a money player. But now, you know, with this calf injury, it's kind of interesting. We put up the line at 5, Ralph, at Rampart and South Point. Mm-hmm. Now it's bet up to 6.5. So, you know, the Thunder are really hungry now. I think this is the Thunder's game to win or lose. I don't think they want to play another game, and if they could take advantage of the injury, this might be a nice spot for the Thunder. I, unfortunately, have been betting the Pacers and losing very difficult, 2 games back with the 2 foul shots before they inbounded the ball, as well as the 3 missed foul shots by a 90% shooter. It made OKC cover, and the last game as well. You know, they're covering by 1 point every game, but they're a covering machine, and this might be the right spot to end this series. So the Thunder are going to be very tough tonight if Halliburton, Nebhard, Siakam, and all those guys aren't playing their peak game. And we'll see how Tyrese is. We'll know very early if he's gimpy or not, and that's what in-game wagering is for as well.
Now, of course, you think they're going to cut the nets down.
Yes, yeah, I like OKC tonight. I think they finish it off similar to what Florida did. You know, I think they're the better teams, and eventually it will show as the wear and tear of these long championship series weigh on, and that's very important. And that's what happened. You know, the Knicks ran out of gas, and now possibly with a key injury to Indiana, they might be out of gas. And the Thunder, like I said, they've won about 60 games by 10 or more points, Ralph. So it's very important. They're a team that likes to cover and put your lights out, but the Pacers hang around, and hit those threes down the stretch. So I think OKC gets the job done tonight. I could see them winning by 10 points.
Well, Dwayne, we had a winner from you last week, so let's try to parlay that to another winner at the track today.
Yeah, Churchill Downs got a super card, like you said, $800,000 in that big carryover. So I'm looking at the 5th race. One of my favorites, Richard Baltus. Without a pout, we have Julian Le Peru. We're breaking from the 10 hole here, but we should get a decent price. And Baltus is taking this horse over from Brendan Walsh. I don't know how much of an upgrade that is because Walsh is an amazing conditioner, but I've seen Richie do some amazing things. He had Ag Bullet with a win and you're in. Up at Saratoga for the Breeders' Cup Sprint. He's definitely hungry. He's going to have a lot of horses throughout the country. He's getting his stable back up, and he's one of the best conditioners in the United States, if you ask me. Using Le Peru on the turf here, this should be an excellent winning combination. I'm going to key the 10 on top of the 1 and 4, but I'm going to make a nice win bet without a pout today in the 5th race at Churchill Downs.
All right, that 5th race at Churchill, breaking from the outside post at 1 mile and 16th on the turf, number 10 without a pout. Irish bred horse, Le Peru for Baltus, who has a stable out there. Number 10 in that race, the 5th race on the card, which will anchor the early pick 4 and early pick 5, and of course the price again at 3-1 on the morning line. Thanks a lot, my man. And I guess because of some contract disputes, we won't be able to bet to Ohio Derby this weekend.
Yeah, unfortunately, I do like the Dutch Row horse, though, like you said, McAfee. But good news on the other hand, Ralph. Fairgrounds is going to run. Churchill Downs negotiated, and that's a big thing. So, having that Fairgrounds meet and Churchill continue the longest racing track, longest existing racetrack in America, that's very important. But, I like the Dutch Row horse in the Ohio Derby.
All right, you got it, my man. And don't forget, if you're up in that part of the country and you don't stop at the Rampart, that'll be your first bad beat going into the races. So make sure you get there at the Rampart. Thanks a lot, Dwayne.
Thanks, Ralph. You're the best. I really appreciate all the support.
Oh, you got it, my man, and we do too. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to get Rich Eng and then, of course, John Lindo to wrap up this Wednesday show as they continue operating on the racetrack in the morning, preparing horses for the afternoon's competition. We'll be right back.
Here we are in Houston, opening up our first veteran village. This beautiful building that's going to house 161 homeless veterans. Any veteran that risks their lives and are struggling with PTSD, mental illness, addiction. We're also building what I call comfort homes, 500 square foot homes. These are for older homeless veterans, so they have their own space, and give them back some of their dignity, some of their independence, and most certainly give them back their life. Go to T2T.org to learn how you can change a veteran's life forever.
South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby.
All right, back on Race Day Las Vegas. Time to go out to Rich Eng standing by. Richie, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Ralphie. Good morning, viewers. Good morning, listeners.
Well, it was an interesting closing day at Santa Anita for sure. And of course, now we move on to Los Alamitos. I will ask you what I asked the other handicappers on today's show. Outside the basic handicapping principles that we use for all the handicapping at all the racetracks, anything different that you tweak for Los Alamitos?
Well, there's a couple things that jump off the page at me. One, Ralph, is that, the horses that win at night at Los Alamitos, a lot of times when they're entered in the daytime, handicappers tend to think that they're a lesser level stock. But if they like the racetrack, they're going to run good on it. And sometimes you can get decent odds on a horse that's run well at night. Secondly is class is a big factor. Certainly when you see some trainers like a Doug O'Neill or a Peter Urton or somebody, Phil D'Amato, dropping a horse down in class and the form is like really ugly. Well, that class level, sometimes it just breaks through and you see a nice performance at a decent price. So class does matter, even on the drop downs.
All right. Well, I know that you don't have a sheet today for anything, but you're always perusing all the racetracks around the country to get a pick for the race day listeners. So what say you today?
Well, I wanted to make sure I could find a main track race with the weather being so tentative back east with rain and stuff like that. Let's go to Horseshoe, Indianapolis. Race number 5 is a mile and a 16th on the main track. Optional claimer 62.5, Ralph, which is a pretty good level for there. Mm-hmm. And the horse I like is the number 1, Speed Bias, 9 to 5 in the morning line. Evan Roman, a California jockey who's now plying his trade back east and doing pretty well, riding for Ron Moquette. This horse wintered at Oak Lawn and ran last at Churchill. Couple of stakes races, now drops into this OC. Let's go with the 1, Speed Bias, in race 5 at Horseshoe, Indianapolis.
All right, 5th race at Horseshoe, Indianapolis today. In the 5th race, you like number 1, Speed Bias, the 1 horse with Roman for Marquette. That's the pick from Richie today, number 1 in the 5th race at Horseshoe, Indianapolis. And of course, Richie has Southern California handicapping, and he'll be back to work on Friday for Los Alamitos. And in the meantime, Richie, just kick back and rest a little, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll see Pacers and Thunder tonight. And I tell you what, the Pacers have had a marvelous run through the playoffs, but it looks like they're kind of running out of gas here at the late part of the series.
All right, you got it, my man. I think what you're indicating there is that you think that they're going to wrap up the series as well tonight.
Well, yeah, and a suggestion. I know you asked Dwayne for a pick and a bet. My suggestion is bet in game because you see some wild swings in the point spread when one team or the other is getting on top. So, for example, if the Thunder open up like a 20-point lead in the first half, you can get the Pacers at plus 14, plus 15, and if they make a run back in the second half, you can actually cash a ticket much better than the point spread at the start of the game.
Yeah, in-game betting is getting very popular when people know how to handicap and watch the flow of the games, that's for sure.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Rich. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey, thanks, Ralph. Good luck, everybody.
All right, we're going to blow off our final break and get right to Southern California, where Mr. John Lindo is standing by. John, good morning. All right, good morning, John.
Okay, have you got me, Ralph?
Yeah, we got you now. Good morning.
Okay, good morning.
How's the weather there?
It's overcast. It's going to be warm today, but not Las Vegas warm. So I'm not complaining one bit.
No, we're going to be 112 and drink a lot of water today. That's for sure. In any case, your thoughts about the wrap up on Sunday at Santa Anita was a heck of a day of racing, I think.
Well, overall, good meet. Very safe meet. The field sizes were bigger. Handle was up a little bit. They did run more races, so that number is a little bit skewed. But still, it was a good meet overall for Santa Anita. A transmission, we transitioned out of Northern California, so we had a lot of those horses down at Santa Anita. So some of the racing, a little lower class racing, but in general, the transition went pretty well. And I'm just glad, for 6 months at one place, it's nice to get a change of venue and kind of refreshes us all.
Yes, in the 29-day Hollywood meet, the handle was up 4.8%. The average field size was 7.38 per race. The purses were down slightly, and of course, Frey Sue won his first Santa Anita title. His first title, of course, in a major racetrack, and Phil D'Amato grabbed his 7th straight training title.
Well, the more they ran on grass, the more Phil D'Amato won. He is loaded for Del Mar, so be prepared. He's going to come out firing, and a lot of stakes races feature the grass down at Del Mar.
Well, I know a guy that's going to ride that big wave right to the shores of Del Mar is going to be Mr. Rispoli.
Well, he's in England right now. He's taking a little bit of a break, but he's rolling off of 6 wins on Sunday and winning a Triple Crown race and everything else that's going on. So his business is obviously very good. And if you're a fan of top class turf racing at Royal Ascot here at 8:20 this morning, Flavien Prat has him out in the Prince of Wales Stakes. He rides Factor Cheval in there, so some representation from the U.S. in these big races.
Yeah, well, I do believe they just ran a steeplechase race there. They're into the fourth race, I guess, or not the fourth race, but they're still racing at Ascot for this morning. Some fun to watch those races, that's for sure. Let me ask you this, John. Doug O'Neill and Redham came across with two nice 2-year-old winners on closing day at Santa Anita, and we know that Bob Baffert is loaded for bear when it comes to Los Al and Del Mar with his new crop of 2-year-olds. So it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. Baffert won a couple of open maiden races with 2-year-olds over the closing weekend at Santa Anita. Of those two, Doug O'Neill's, they were both Calbreds. Hero or Zero ran over a second faster than the other horse. I can't remember the other horse's name, but Hero Zero, mark him down. He's going to be a major player in the Calbred Stakes races down at Del Mar. And you never know what you're going to see in those 2-year-old races down there. That's part of the fun of the summer.
Well, the other 2-year-old they had was Pavlovian.
That's it, yes. Yeah. He wants to run longer, but Hero Zero, he's very quick, and he toyed with those Cowboys the other day. Well,
we know that you'll have a Linda report each and every day, a comprehensive Linda report for Los Alamitos when it starts on Friday, handicapping all the races, suggested late pick 4, and all the goodie information there. I will ask you what I asked all the other handicappers. Outside of the basic handicapping principles that we all use, anything different for Los Al?
Well, Los Alamitos, the track configuration for the daytime has the longest stretch run in all of the United States. It's a good quarter mile. Mm-hmm. But even with that long stretch, you better be in position turning for home. You're not going to pass 7 horses down the lane. So, it's a track you have to know. And guys like Tiago Pereira, Kyle Frey, some of the guys that maybe aren't the top 3 at Santa Anita, they get a lot of wins down there, and they know that track. So, not only horses for courses, but there are jockeys that know that place too. So keep an eye on that and see who gets hot.
And of course, Mr. Fresu knows it because he got his first Southern California riding title at Los Alamitos. All right. Well, we know that you never come on the show without a thought of taking a look at whatever's racing out there today. So I believe you have a pick for us.
Yeah, no Lindo report today, but I did take a quick look at Churchill Downs. How about the third race at Churchill Downs today? Number 7, Shape Note, a horse that's won 4 or 6 starts this year at 4 different tracks. He's 4 for 5 lifetime on fast dirt tracks. It is fast and firm at Churchill today. A good outside stocking trip, I think, is what happens here. 5-1 on the program. Number 7, Shape Note, race number 3, Churchill Downs.
All right, third race at Churchill at 6 furlongs. The 7, Shape Note. Brian Hernandez Jr. riding for Mr. Wiggins at 5-1 on the morning line. He'll leave the starting gate right next to the 9-5 favorite there in Busk. So you like the 7 in the third race today at Churchill Downs. And so between you and Jonathan, he has a horse in the first race. That's also number 7. So I think I'll do a Siraco play pick 3. 1 in the first race to all in the second race to 7 in the third race. His number 7 in the first race, that's Jonathan's horse, first race, the 7, to all, and then 7 in the third race. And maybe we can catch that pick 3 today at Churchill. Well, John, it'll be exciting to get started again with racing at Los Alamitos, but taking just a couple of days to kind of relax and regroup. There's only one more thing we have left to say on this Wednesday show as we say goodbye to everybody and wait for Thursday morning. And you're going to say it.
Have a great race day, everybody.